Welcome to A Slice of Therapy. This podcast was created with Anchor. And if you've not heard of Anchor, let me explain. It's free. It's a really easy way to make a podcast. And it helps me because I can just do this every day directly into my phone, because there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. So if you fancy making a podcast too, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So how do you respond in stressful situations? When something stressful happens, what's your kind of default go-to sort of place? The reactions that you tend to have when something happens that puts you under pressure or puts you under stress or feels really difficult. I'm going to take you through a little exercise which will help you discover what that is for you. Because once you know what it is, you can make a decision whether you think it's a useful approach or not, or whether that's a response that you'd like to change. And then you can ask yourself how you'd like to be instead. Or you might decide that you're really pleased with the kind of response that you do come up with. But at least gives you a chance to assess whether you think it serves you or not. So here's what I want you to imagine. Imagine that it's one of those important holidays. It might be Christmas, it might be something else, but the kind of holiday that's very similar to Christmas, where things just shut down and there's a huge expectation on the particular day. Do you know the way our Christmas Day, for many people here in the West, it's kind of, there's so much pressure on that being a special day and you can't ruin Christmas. Well, I want you to imagine it's something like that, if not that itself. And so you go and you do your kind of Christmas shopping quite late. You know, you're getting your food in, you're getting all the stuff that you need for the day. I'm not talking about presents necessarily, but, you know, all the stuff that people tend to get in for any kind of festivity. And you've gone late, you know you've gone late, but it's still fine, you can get there okay, and you can get all your stuff done, you know that. So you get there and it's the final day of shopping. It's late on. You're going round and you gather all your stuff together into your basket, into your trolley. So you've got all your stuff. It's brimming over with all the stuff that you wanted to get for the day. And for the whole holiday period, in fact, because you know that everywhere's going to be shut down for a few days. And so you're really pleased with yourself because you can look in the trolley, you realise you've gotten everything. You've even got yourself a few treats. And it's going to be a good one. And you get to the checkout, you have a little joke with the cashier. Everyone's in a jolly mood because, it's this final day before this lovely festive period begins. And then they tell you the amount and you go into your pocket to get your money and you realise, oh no, your money, it's actually on the table back home. And there's a big queue there waiting for you to pay, but you got all your stuff there in front of the cashier, all piled up in a big heap. And you haven't got your money. And you look and you think, I'll get my credit cards. So you check your pocket and they're not there either. They're with the money. Oh no. Now the store's going to close within 10 minutes and you live 20 minutes away. So there's nothing you can do. You can't go home. What do you do? What is it that you do in this situation? Because, everybody's answer will be different. When I answered this question for myself, when I first come across this exercise, I just assumed everybody would do the same as me. And it was only in a group setting that I realised, in fact, everybody does different. So you're in that situation and your basket's full of stuff that you can't buy. All this stuff that was going to make a lovely Christmas or whatever day it happens to be, lovely festive holiday. And the shops are now going to be shut for about 4 days. What do you do in that situation? Now, once you know what you'd do in that situation, what your response would be, how you would react to that, how you might try and solve the problem, whether you'd even try to solve the problem at all, how you would feel about it, you can then check that out. Is that the way you'd like to be reacting? Is it helpful to you? Is it useful? Because the likelihood is that your response in that scenario that we've just imagined together, if you check it out, that's probably a response that comes up a lot when you feel under pressure like that, when you have a similar situation. And so, seeing as it's probably coming up a lot, is that a response that you like? Is that a response that you'd like to change? And if you'd like to change, how would you like it to be instead? And so beginning to get that awareness of what your typical default response is under that kind of pressure, your assessment of whether it's useful to you, whether it actually makes life better for you or makes life worse. And then your assessment that if it does make life worse and you'd like it to be different, an opportunity to think through how you'd like it to be is a real good starting point for beginning to understand where you are, what you would like to change, and what you would like change to look like once it becomes different. So I hope that little exercise was a useful window into how you tend to respond under pressure and whether it's useful and what you might want instead. And if you found that useful, then please feel free to share it along so that other people can get the benefit of that insight as well. If you'd like to work with me, I'm Alun Parry, and you can find me at liverpoolpsychotherapy.co.uk. And you can subscribe to this podcast completely free of charge wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever. And so I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Thanks very much for listening.